Good morning. My question is, how can I experience joy constantly in my life?
Well, we don't want to burst your bubble. But we want to say, rather than asking for constant joy, if you would instead ask to be more often pointed in the direction of it, then you would be more likely to achieve that constant state of joy. But there's something about saying, I want a constant state of joy, that sets you up for failure. And it doesn't provide the flexibility that your guidance system allows. In other words, instead of saying, I want a constant state of joy, instead say, I want to most often be aware of which direction in the stream I'm pointing. And if I'm aware of which way is downstream and which way feels good and which way is upstream and which way feels harder, and I'm willing to let go of whatever issue it is that's got me pointed upstream, I'm willing to soften my approach to it to allow myself to turn in the stream, then in time you won't even ask such a question because you'll be feeling so wonderful. We want to say to you that that joy that you're asking for is really a relative term. And by that we mean, if something has happened and you are feeling despair about it, joy, hear this, is an irrational request. Irrational and unnecessary, because to you in your despair, rage or revenge or anger is going to be as sweet as the joy could be if you were up there in appreciation already. In other words, you have to understand, it's sort of like you get into a very hot bathtub and at first you can't bear it, but as you settle into it, then it begins to feel just right. Or you dive into a very cold pool and at first you think you can't bear it, but then your body sort of adjusts to it. That's that relativity that we want you to hear about. And so if we were to say to you, not only do you have the potential for always feeling joy, but it is your responsibility to always feel joy, we would defeat your entire guidance system, and we would defeat the reason that you are here in this diverse environment, wanting to sift through it in order to come to conclusions. In other words, you watch someone, a child or an adult, who has decided that they're going to be perfect in every way. They have the most limited life of anyone that you know, because they can't take risks, because they can't afford to fail. And so they become more and more cloistered. They get around fewer and fewer people. Their life becomes more and more narrower, and they feel less and less free. So we want to say freedom, the freedom which is what you're really reaching for. Freedom is the ability to acknowledge that wherever I am is all right and that it can improve. Ooh, how about that?
Yes.
Wherever I am is all right and it can get better. That's the goal we want you to shoot for in your physical body. Wherever I am is all right and getting better. The other day, Jerry and Esther were in Eugene, Oregon. They were having their monster bus worked on a little bit. And they were at a restaurant that they return to year after year and eat at many times whenever they're in the area. And they were back for the first time on this trip, and they were admiring the place. It's not a big place, but it really is special. And everything about it is clean, beautifully decorated, and nice people work there. And the food is always wonderful. And so they were on their normal rampage of appreciation in this environment, and they'd been having a very good day together. And they were sitting there just sort of basking, almost turning inside out with the pleasure of the moment, when the waiter put a salad down in front of Esther. And when Esther looked at it, shivers ran up and down her body. Shivers, orgasmic, inside out, turning inside out shivers. And she said, "What's in that salad?" And we say that when you are in alignment with Source, and with that connection with Source, you behold something that matches a large number of your intentions, there is no end to that joy. In other words, that joy that you're speaking about has no cap on it. In other words, there is no end to how good you can continue to feel. No end to it, you see. And so that salad, that was a special salad. It was growing in a field that morning. Someone had gone to some garden and carefully plucked the contents of that salad and carried it in a very delicate basket. It was carefully washed and dried and orchestrated on the plate. In other words, there was so much deliberate intention put into that magnificent salad. And it matched so many of the intentions that Jerry and Esther held. And in her state of alignment, she felt the fullness of a salad, you see. Now, you might say, yeah, that's what I mean. How can I always feel like that? And we say, and yet there's more, there's more, there's more. There's no ending to how life can please you when you're turned in direction of that which you truly are, you see. You have so much more capacity for joy than we have words to describe it. Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. And we think those are the best words anyone has ever said. But sometimes you can't get a whiff of bliss from where you are. So if you have been told to follow your bliss and bliss is not on your radar screen anywhere, then you might feel lost. Where if you say, I'm going to point in the direction of bliss, and right now I'm going to take the breath of fresh air that revenge gives me.
Okay.
Now you're moving in the direction of, you see. Because what happens when you say, I want joy, and what have I got? Anger. Oh man, I'm so bad. I need to listen to more tapes. I can't. And we say, now you've turned upstream again. Where when you say, I want to find joy, and I can't find joy, but aggravated assault feels pretty good. You get the sense of what we're talking about.
Yes, very much. Yes, thank you so much. I did get the whole message.
Yes, you did.
Thank you.